Okay, guys, Melissa here. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, one of my favorite days of the week. This is the time I usually draw close to God. I usually have a time of refreshment. This is the day of the week. It's like a shower. I heard a sermon. You go to church. I'll be going to church later, and you just get a cleansing. It is a time to look at the Bible, have a mirror pointed at yourself, and just say, where am I in my walk with God? Where can I improve? Where do I need to confess? Where do I need to grow in God? So this is every Sunday shower. It cleanses you, it takes care of your soul. So as I was listening to a sermon this morning about anger, and then I listened to one last night about anger, it was really good for me to look at myself. The one that I heard this morning was much more in depth. I don't think I've ever heard a sermon on anger like this. Usually it's just like I hear it and it's kind of like a cliche, right? God does say to be angry. He says to be angry. When you have been mistreated, in my case, mistreated, misunderstood, from my husband, wrongly accused of many stuff, it is frustrating, right? And then it's even more frustrating because you're trying to solve it. You're trying to figure out, how do I solve this? And honestly, guys, at the end of the day, it's really just trusting God at the end of the day. It's saying God knows more than I do. He knows what's going on. I cannot control whatever this is, and be wise about what you can control, what is in your control, what you have a choice of, and what you do not have, a choice about. So God knows better than us. And this is why yesterday I did a video that God is good, because he can see things that I cannot see. He knows what he's doing. He never makes a mistake. This the danger in not dealing with your anger, because I have been angry about this. The danger in not dealing with it is turning away from God. That is the danger that I have been very aware of in my own walk with God. It is easy to give up on, especially someone where I can get discouraged easily. It is very easy to give up on God when life is doesn't seem fair. There is a time to call a spade a spade. I did call Kevin Leandro a lying bastard last night, because that is exactly what he is. There is a time to call sin exactly what it is. There is a time to be angry, but there is also a time in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for everything. There's a season for everything in life. And we are called, as my husband, and I'm not saying his name here, but he is my brother in Christ. We are called to love one another, to be tenderhearted toward one another. This is why communication is so, so important, guys, in any relationship, even if you're mad at yourself. So when I first had the truth come out about my abortion, I was very mad at myself. And that's where, suicide was a suicidal tendency was there. And that is a post traumatic stress symptom, which I didn't know about. I could have kicked myself. I was mad at myself for everything that had happened. And then I did put the blame where it belonged. And like yesterday was the Walk for Life in New Hampshire. And as I thought about that today, the truth is, there are many babies who have been buried at a landfill in Concord. Okay. And this should make us angry. This is disgusting. This is an awful thing. There should have been a place for my boyfriend and I at the time, Randy, to be able to understand what was really going on and be able to bury our child. So when the truth keeps coming up, ladies, and you keep having more stuff come out as you heal, the fact that you should have had a graveyard service for your child, take the anger and realize that, God has dealt with justice. When you feel like my child's blood is calling out from the ground for justice, know that God will deal with everything in its time. And just as he's forgiven you, God has forgiven me completely for a part that I played as a minor, which I totally did not understand any of this. And I didn't even know what an abortion was. And the adults had made the decision There is a time through the post abortive classes that you must forgive other people. You must. And it's not right away. There is a time to have some hate, there is some time to have anger, and then there is a time to forgive and realize, Lord, they know not what they do. And that is not just for the people who hurt you, but the people in the whole abortion thing. I heard a lady who actually has a love for abortionists, and I'm like, wow. I mean, that really takes a Christ-like love to have a love for people who, the doctor who killed my child is dead, but to have a love for an abortionist. And that is only the love of Christ that can do that. So as we see this evil in the world, guys, and you definitely need to see the truth. Um, about what's really happening rather than, we're living in a society where the truth is not there. We call it healthcare, and it's not true. But once you do see the truth and you need to deal with all the repercussions of that and heal, even being able to forgive your abortionist is something that you will be able to eventually do. And you have to understand, God meant it, they meant it for evil, God meant it for good. So even in, and for me, I'm not somebody who really cares about what people think about me. It's not my reputation that I care about or anything. It's the fact that when you have been mistreated at such a deep, deep level with abortion, and then you have others pulling that same trigger sometimes, with mistreating you, with, you know, things that happen, you have to see yourself as God sees you. And to God, you are extremely valuable. You are the apple of his eye. There is nothing that's going to come your way that is not from him. And this is why last night with my husband, I had put a song in, You Have the Best of My Love. I don't know what happened with my husband. I am to be tenderhearted and kind to him, which I have always been to him up until I had to defend myself. So, up until a couple years ago. And there were times that I was like, nope, these are my boundaries and you need to grow. And you want a man to be able to rise, right? You want him not to go down, but to be able to rise to the moment and grow with you and mature with you. So, how do you solve this? How do you solve this? I think forgiveness is a huge part of this. Just Christ has forgiven me. There's not one thing every single day, whether it's my wrong thoughts or whether what I do, God has not forgiven me. And this is where you have to frame where you have been mistreated. My God forgives my husband. He forgives Kevin. He loves Kevin Leandro. He absolutely, has died for Kevin and adores him. And he loves my husband. He loves my mother-in-law. He loves my father-in-law. He loves my mother. I just said the other day in a video that my family was everything to me. He loves my father. I absolutely loved my father as a little girl. Absolutely loved him. He was my hero. He was a huge guy, and every little girl loves their daddy. I absolutely loved my mother as a little girl. Absolutely. Every little daughter wants to be like her mother, right? But then when we see murder and we see sin and we have to call it what it is. You have to be able to get through this. And where I was just abandoned by my family and disowned, they were not willing to take personal responsibility for their part in the death of my child. And that is where you have to call it out and call sin sin. And then you have to forgive them. You have to and say, you know what? You did, there is truth. You knew what you were doing. You knew it and you chose it, but you also, you were not a Christian. You did not have the same values that you should have had, and you have to offer that forgiveness. So, where my husband is, has always been my best friend for my whole entire life. I am thankful God put him in my life. I really am. He has given me five beautiful sons. He gave me so much love when I was in a place of a total mess and didn't even know it. After I dated Mike, I was with my husband. And the reason why I chose my husband was because he listened to me. That was the biggest choice that I had at that time, even though I was a mess, he listened to me. He would sit down and listen to me. And then after he broke up with me, because he wanted his freedom, we saw each other by chance at a restaurant, and this was God orchestrated. We happened to see each other. I was working at Reagan Court reporting. He was at the old mill. We saw each other. We missed each other, and we worked it out. And then after I left him because I was so ticked off, we worked it out. And, he had, we had just forgiven one another. We weren't even Christians, and we just loved each other so much that we worked it out. And then once I became a Christian, it was, yeah, I'm in this for good. So, I am thankful for all my husband has given me. I mean, his guitar playing is absolutely awesome. If he was smart, he'd be on YouTube playing his guitar and making a ton of money. Seriously, that is an adventure, something that he could make a ton of money at. He is an amazing guitar player. So he taught me about the guitar that I would have never known about. I love the sound of the guitar, especially when he would play Pretty Woman to me. Listening to the Eagles and feeling like I missed his guitar playing was moving to me the other night. What else? He taught me about motorcycles, he taught me about cars, he taught me so much that he enriched my life greatly. So can I hate this man? No. He's given me five beautiful sons. He is the father of my sons. I see him every single day in my sons, especially my youngest. The way he acts, the way he is, I see him every day in my son. And there was a picture of my husband in 8th grade that looks pretty much like how my son does now. Um, I can see, the nose, the lips, everything. And, the way one of my sons acts, he acts like his dad. Do I hate my sons? No, I absolutely love my sons. Do I love my husband? Yes, I do. But am I willing to let him go and be like, okay, you chose this. You chose to act on your own wisdom instead of trusting God, instead of coming to Colorado with me, instead of doing this, you chose your own way. You chose to be bitter. You chose to be full of acid. You chose to be wrathful and attack me instead of communicating and solving things. You chose to be like this to me with no cause. So, I love my husband and always will, and I do wish him the best. And I am thankful that God has put him in my life for over what, 33 years of marriage plus what, 10, 15 years before that, all my life almost. So I am thankful for this man, and I choose to forgive him, and I choose to continue to love him and pray for him and hope the best for him. So he does have the best of my love, and I hope he's happy without me. So I really hope he is happy. I really do. I hope he has everything in life that he could want. He had worked for years handing me his check, and obviously, I did not take advantage of that. I would be like, yeah, you work hard. Let's buy you boots. Let's get you steak dinners on a regular basis. What would you want to do with the money? We have extra money here. Here, you can have it. Here's all your tools. I did not take advantage of him handing over his check to me, and he sacrificed for many years. So I am happy he has a house if he has one. I am happy he has a truck, a motorcycle, all the stuff in the world that you could have. I am happy for you. I am not somebody who is materialistic. I am actually looking forward to having my strength back today and decluttering my home. I have too much junk. It just collects around here, and I have no idea how I bring so much stuff in sometimes. So I am decluttering today. But yeah, so I am a people person. I'm not into stuff much. I do love quality stuff, but for now, I've chosen not to have a car. For now, I owe my son some money plus interest, which I freely spoil him and give him extra money. Um, but I give all the time. Just gave my son some money for pants and shoes, and sent money yesterday. I am a giver. So, I love my husband, and if he is truly happy without me, I truly hope the best for him. I hope he finds a woman who can make him happy. I am happy with who I am. I am truly happy, truly happy. I don't need a man. If God were to work things out with me and my husband and he enhanced my life, wonderful. But my husband has made choices that I have to honor. So, he is my husband in God's eyes. That's why I say my husband, even though I guess technically, although I don't have a divorce paper, he is my ex husband. But I have loved my husband and always will, and hope that he turns to God in his anger. So, this is what I got for now. And ladies, stay focused on God. Do not turn away from God. It is easy for me when I've had pain to push away from people, but do not push away from God, guys. This is when you need Him the most. Pull closer to Him. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. Off to have some breakfast and to do some decluttering. And I'm thankful to have some strength back today. All right, take care.